were to tell my child to kneel down again in this school.
The slap echoed through the corridor like a gunshot. 20-year-old Annabelle watched from behind her father's broad shoulders as Miss Mirable's head snapped to the side, her hand flying to her reddening cheek. Students froze in the hallway, their whispers dying mid-breath. "How dare you make my daughter kneel?" Marcus Wellington's voice boomed through the pristine halls of Grandview Academy, one of Lagos's most prestigious schools. His designer suit and gold watch caught the fluorescent lights as he pointed an accusing finger at the trembling teacher. "Sir, I didn't beat her," Miss Mirable stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. "It was just a disciplinary measure to caution her for disrupting class repeatedly." "Never touch my daughter again." Marcus's words were ice. "She is precious to me. Do you understand?" He turned and walked away, leaving Miss Mirable standing there, speechless and humiliated, her hand still pressed against her burning cheek. Annabelle followed her father, her designer bag swinging carelessly from her shoulder, a small smile playing at her lips. That evening, their marble-floored living room became a battlefield. "Marcus, you can't keep doing this!" Patricia Wellington's voice cracked with desperation. "You assaulted her teacher in front of the entire school. That woman was just doing her job." Marcus set down his whiskey glass with deliberate calm. "My job is to protect my daughter. Or have you forgotten she's our only child, the only one we'll ever have?" The unspoken words hung heavy in the air. The years of fertility treatments, the miscarriages, the emptiness that Annabelle had finally filled. Patricia's eyes glistened, but she pressed on. "Protecting her doesn't mean—" "Enough!" Marcus's fist slammed on the mahogany table. "I will train my child the way I see fit. This discussion is over." Patricia's mouth closed. She had learned over the years that challenging Marcus on matters concerning Annabelle was like throwing herself against a brick wall. Her marriage had already fractured in so many places from these battles, she couldn't afford another crack. The pattern continued, weaving itself into the fabric of their lives like a stubborn stain. At 17, Annabelle had stopped washing her own clothes. The laundry basket in her room overflowed with designer dresses and imported jeans until Patricia, exhausted, would gather them herself. When she suggested Annabelle help with household chores, Marcus had overheard. "We have housekeepers for that. My daughter should focus on her studies." But Annabelle wasn't studying. She was on her phone, scrolling through social media, her homework untouched. By 18, the kitchen became a war zone. Dishes piled in the sink after Annabelle's late-night snacking. When Patricia asked her to at least rinse her plates, Annabelle had shrugged. "That's not my job." Marcus walked in during the exchange. "Patricia, why are you stressing her? We employ people for this." "She needs to learn basic responsibility, Marcus." "What she needs is a mother who supports her, not one who treats her like a housemaid." Patricia walked away, her shoulders sagging under the weight of defeat. At 19, even personal hygiene became negotiable. Annabelle would go days without showering, claiming she was too tired, too stressed, whatever excuse came to mind. The expensive perfumes Marcus bought her masked it temporarily, but her classmates at university began to notice. They started sitting farther away. When the school counselor called Patricia about concerns regarding Annabelle's self-care, Patricia tried to have a gentle conversation with her daughter. "Sweetheart, maybe you should—" "Mom, stop nagging me," Annabelle had snapped, and right on cue, Marcus appeared. "Patricia, can't you see she's overwhelmed with her coursework? Leave her alone." But Annabelle had no coursework. She'd been skipping lectures for weeks. The real crisis began during Annabelle's second year at the University of Lagos. She'd stopped attending classes altogether. Her lecturer, Dr. Okonkwo, a stern woman known for her fairness, had called Annabelle to her office after the 5th consecutive absence. "Miss Wellington, your performance is unacceptable. You've submitted nothing this semester. I'm giving you 1 week to catch up or you'll fail." Annabelle stared at her phone throughout the meeting. Whatever. That evening, she told her father. She didn't mention her own negligence, only that Dr. Okonkwo was unfair and had it out for her. The next morning, Marcus Wellington stormed into the university administration building. Within an hour, he was in the dean's office threatening to withdraw his substantial donations unless that vindictive lecturer was dealt with. Dr. Okonkwo was forced to extend Annabelle's deadline. The other students watched in disgust as Annabelle sauntered through campus untouchable. But the protection came at a cost no one could see yet. At 21, Annabelle was still in her senior year of secondary school, having repeated twice due to failures her father's interventions could no longer prevent. The prestigious Grandview Academy had bent many rules for the Wellington family, but even they couldn't change exam results indefinitely. Her former classmates had graduated, moved on to universities, started internships. Annabelle was stuck, surrounded by teenagers 3 years younger, isolated by her reputation. She had no real friends. The students whispered when she passed. Teachers dreaded having her in class, knowing any correction would bring Marcus Wellington's wrath. Even the housekeepers at home had learned to avoid her. She never thanked them, never acknowledged their work, treated them like invisible furniture. Patricia watched her daughter deteriorate with a breaking heart. The vibrant little girl who used to dance through their garden had become a hollow shell, capable of nothing, motivated by nothing, connected to no one. "Marcus, look at her," Patricia whispered one night as they watched Annabelle slumped on the sofa, mindlessly scrolling. "Really look at her. Is this the life you wanted for our daughter?" "She's fine," Marcus said, but his voice lacked conviction. "She's not fine. She can't do anything for herself. She has no skills, no friends, no—" "She has us. She has everything she needs, except the ability to live in the world." The break-in point came on a humid Tuesday morning. Marcus Wellington collapsed in his office, a massive heart attack. By the time the ambulance arrived, he was gone. The funeral was lavish. Hundreds attended, business associates and society figures filling the cathedral. But as they lowered Marcus into the ground, Patricia looked at Annabelle and felt a chill that had nothing to do with the weather. Her daughter's face was blank, not sad, not grieving, just empty. The weeks after the funeral revealed the truth Patricia had feared. The family businesses required attention, decisions, involvement. Annabelle couldn't manage any of it. She couldn't even fill out basic forms, couldn't attend meetings, couldn't focus long enough to understand what was at stake. Their financial advisor, Mr. Johnson, tried to explain their portfolio to Annabelle. She stared at her phone. "Miss Wellington, this is important. These investments need—" "Can't you just handle it?" she mumbled. "Some decisions require your signature." "Whatever, I don't care." The household began to crumble. Without Marcus's income, they needed to budget, but Annabelle didn't know how. She'd never paid a bill, never managed money, never even bought her own groceries. Patricia tried to teach her, but years of learned helplessness couldn't be undone overnight. Annabelle would start a task, washing dishes, sorting laundry, then give up halfway through, frustrated and angry. "I can't do this," she'd scream. "Dad never made me do this. Why are you being so mean?" "Because I love you," Patricia would say quietly, "and your father isn't here anymore to shield you from life." 6 months after Marcus's death, they'd had to let the housekeepers go. The mansion felt too big, too empty, too expensive. Annabelle sat in the kitchen one morning, staring at the dishes she'd finally washed, awkwardly with too much soap, but washed nonetheless. Her hands were wrinkled from the water. She'd never noticed how hard the work was. Patricia found her there, tears streaming down her face. "Mom, I don't know how to do anything. Dad, he thought he was protecting me, but he—" He crippled me." Patricia sat beside her daughter and took her hand. "I know, baby, I know. How do I fix this? I'm 21 and I can't even take care of myself. Everyone hates me. I have no friends, no future, nothing." "We fix it together," Patricia said firmly. "One day at a time, one skill at a time. It won't be easy." "I'm scared." "Being scared means you're finally awake." That afternoon, Annabelle enrolled in a community skills program. She learned to cook basic meals, to manage a budget, to clean properly. The other students were younger, but they didn't know her history. For the first time in years, she was just another person trying to learn. It was humbling, it was hard, it was necessary. One evening, as Annabelle folded laundry, slowly, imperfectly, but independently, she thought of her father. She understood now that his love was real, but it had also been suffocating. In trying to protect her from every struggle, he'd prevented her from growing into a capable human being. The greatest gift he could have given her wasn't protection from life's difficulties, it was the tools to face them. And now, finally, painfully, she was learning to build those tools herself.